Шановні колеги, до слова запрошую.
Good afternoon, dear colleagues. Now the floor is given to the Ministry of Defense spokesman on ATO-related issues, Colonel Andriy Lysenko. Good afternoon, dear colleagues. Now the information about the events that happened in the ATO area during the last 24 hours and also about training of Ukrainian armed forces. The situation in the region of ATO remains tense, and during the last 24 hours, the militants of so-called LPR continued shelling of Ukrainian positions with intensity that is not lower than in previous days. They use a wide variety of weapons except rocket artillery. Number of ceasefire violations exceeded 100 and now is 110. Now, information in more detail about each area. The Lugansk area, enemy shellings restarted in Stanitsa Luganska. During the last 24 hours, there were 6 instances of ceasefire violations by the militants, and all of them with the use of small arms, including sniper rifles. And for the first time in this month, the militants violated ceasefire near Shastya twice during the day. They opened fire in Lobachevo. In Crimsk, militants were active after 9 a.m. and until 6 p.m. they launched at our positions more than 60 mortar mines and actively used small arms. Shellings were short-term and sporadic. And after sunset in the Novaidarsk region, it was calm. At the same time, the tense situation was in Popasnyansky region of Lugansk Oblast. The main military actions were after afternoon and during sunset. The militants delivered mortar and artillery shellings. And starting noon and to the sunset, the militants opened fire sporadically with the use of grenade launchers and small arms. During the last 24 hours in the Lugansk area, there were 42 enemy shellings, half of which with the use of heavy weapons. The Donetsk area, Svetlodarsk Bulge. In Lugansk, right after midnight, the militants delivered short-term mortar shelling. And after this, it was calm for 15 hours until the militants violated ceasefire once again with the use of grenade launchers. And till the end of that day, the militants also delivered 3 shellings, 2 of them mortar shellings. The Gorlovka perimeter, the main flash spot was Zaitsevo. And there, in the morning, the militants launched about 30 mines and delivered small arms fire for 3 hours, and including sniper fire. And the militants in the suburbs were not active and at that time, but at 6 p.m. they opened fire with the use of small arms in Zaitsevo, and also the militants delivered mortar shelling in Verkhny Toretsk and delivered fire with the use of small arms and including sniper rifles. And the day ended in the Gorlovka perimeter with the massive artillery and mortar shelling delivered by the militants in Zaitsevo. The military actions in Avdiivka and its suburbs started 6 in the morning, and the enemy brought tanks to the line of confrontation and opened fire and also used mortars. And 2.5 hours the shelling stopped and it was calm until 4 p.m. and then the enemy restarted its activity and the shellings lasted without interruption until midnight. The occupants used a different type of weaponry except artillery. In the region of the Donetsk airport, there were 2 provocations delivered by the militants in Pisky and Opatne. Half of these were mortar shellings and it happened in the evening. So during the last 24 hours in the Donetsk area, there were 26 enemy shellings, including 17 with the use of heavy weapons. The Mariupol area in Mariinsky region, Yesterday, the enemy was active in the morning and used the small arms, and after sunset, it delivered mortar shelling of Ukrainian positions in Mariinka and Krasnogorovka, and also in Mariinka yesterday in the evening, snipers of the enemy was active. And in the region of Dokuchaevsk, the militants were active right after midnight. The militants delivered heavy artillery and mortar shelling in Novotroitsk and launched 20 mines and 20 shells and 30 mines. And during the day in Dokuchaevsk, the militants shelled our positions with mortars and the weaponry of APCs, and the enemy sniper was active as well. And to the south, there was mortar shelling in Bogdanovka and Novogrigorievka. The enemy shelled our positions with the use of cannons, launching 15 shells. Difficult situation is in Pavlopil-Shirokina na part of front line. The occupants shelled our positions throughout the day, and as previously, heavy weapons was used exclusively during the day, and it was a difficult situation was in Vodyanne. The militants launched about 30 artillery shells and more than 80 mines. During the last 24 hours in the Mariupol area, there were 42 enemy shellings, including 12 with the use of heavy weapons. During the last 24 hours, in the result of the military actions, 1 Ukrainian serviceman was killed and 12 wounded. Our hearts goes out to the relatives of the serviceman who was killed. Ukrainian power reported on the shellings of Mariinka and Mikhailovka that happened in the evening of the 3rd of March. And in Mariinka, the enemy shell damaged the roof, and in Novomikhailovka, walls and the windows of the house were damaged and the car burned down. And also in Mariinka, a woman was injured on the 1st of March by shelling, and in the ATO zone, NGO servicemen had some tactical training for school children. Sanitary instructors provided information and shown to the students explosive devices and how to treat and to impose the bandage. And also in a training center that is called Desna, there were 10-day training for operative reservists, and these trainings are the basis of national tank regiment and training a mechanized regiment. And in Odessa they had some graduation for sergeants of Maritime College of Technical Fleet at National University of Odessa Maritime Academy. The training lasted 2.5 years, and 30 graduates will serve at ships and caters and in the Coast Guard and maritime aviation, and this year they plan to increase the number of new students. Do you have questions? Please ask. There are no questions. Thank you.